Okay. While I must speak with Madame Van den Bosch, I should also take the opportunity to talk to the Mademoiselle Rehanna in the kitchen.
Oh.
Madame Van den Bosch's collection of art extends further than just paintings.
Ah.
Madame Van den Bosch's collections of an art... Okay.
Aha.
The fallen snow has laid a beautiful white blanket over the countryside that surrounds the house. There she is.
Huh.
Okay. Well, I'm just checking. Just checking. I wonder how many travel expeditions have been planned while enjoying the contents of the globe. The kitchen. Yeah, no, let's start here. Shall we? Okay.
Bonjour, madame. May I offer my condolences for your loss?
Thank you, Detective, but they are not necessary. What can I do for you?
I was hoping you would be prepared to answer some questions.
If I must.
Why would someone want to kill the Major?
I'm sure you're aware he was not the easiest man to get along with. His hot temper made him a number of foes.
A hot temper is reason enough to kill a man.
His mouth often acted before his brain. Perhaps someone had grown tired of dealing with it.
You suggested why someone might kill him, but who do you believe would do it?
Seeing as I heard Mr. Becker's in what I would describe as an unnecessarily loud exchange of words yesterday, he would be my first suspect.
You heard them yourself.
How could I not? The volume they were shouting at, I could hear them from the study in my room.
You did not think it fitting to tell me this yesterday?
I didn't think Felix was going to wind up dead and a murderer loose in my house. My apologies, Detective.
Although I must learn more of this argument, it is not Madame that I expect the answer to come from. Rather, Monsieur Becker's. He has a great deal of explaining to do. A letter was found in the Major's study.
I assume you are talking about the supposed blackmail letter.
Oui, madame. You know of it?
It arrived shortly after the first. Rather coincidental, if you ask me.
I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say, madame.
He no doubt had secrets hidden away. But do you honestly think Felix had anything of value to his name worth threatening him for?
Perhaps you should enlighten me.
Well, he was here, living in my house, eating my food, prepared by my staff. Does that answer your question, Detective?
How do you think the Major came to have the letter?
I wouldn't put it past him to have written it himself, in the hopes of getting some sympathy from me.
And the other letters?
He probably wrote those too. If Angeline paid the first, that would have given him the money to pay the second letter. He is the White Knight, saves the day, and expects to live here happily ever after.
I didn't expect Madame Van den Bosch to be so blunt with the thoughts towards the Major. I was under the impression there was more to their friendship, not less. It is quite the nefarious plan that Madame has laid out for the Major. I'm not sure I can believe he would go to such levels of deceit. I'm sure Mademoiselle Angeline will have an opinion on the matter. I'd like to ask you about the Monsieur da Silva.
What is it you wish to know?
You two have been friends for some time now, and while I do not mean to pry, has your relationship only...
If you are trying to insinuate that Mr. Da Silva and I are running around like schoolchildren, you could not be further from the truth. He was friends with my husband, for goodness sake.
Oui, I understand they worked together. Investments, if I am correct.
Mr. De Silva was the voice of reason that my husband should have listened to more often, instead of throwing our money at businesses that were already on the verge of bankruptcy.
Merci, madame. I shall not bother you any further.
Well, I don't feel very satisfied about the conversation. But oh well. Look at these foods here. It's just piled up here. Well, I guess, yeah, they were expecting a lot of guests, so yeah. The cook has always used them for quite some time, judging by their condition.
Bonjour, madame. You must be the wonderful cook.
Wonderful and modest, sir. I am Rihanna.
My taste buds thank you for the ravishing meal last night. It has been some time since I ate so well.
Glad to hear it, sir.
S'il te plaît, madame. A detective is fine.
In that case, mademoiselle is fine for me, and I will ignore your presumption of marriage.
Très bon, mademoiselle.
You have been with the Vandenbosch family for quite some time.
That's right. I've seen staff come and go, but a house always needs a trustworthy cook.
I agree. But if I was to eat what you prepare every day, I fear I may be the size of La Maison.
Not a bad thing, detective. You could do with some meat on your bones.
Well, with the snow still not clearing, we may be stuck here for the weekend. Perhaps I should look to adjust my pantalon buttons.
I understand you took some ice to the major yesterday.
I did. Monsieur Archie told me what had happened. Bruises can swell fast, so I took him some ice to bring it down.
Her voice doesn't really fit to the picture here or to the model here. I expected some different voice, like the voice sounds too young. Strange, Mr. Stellan told me it was the major that requested the ice.
How was the Major when you saw him?
Grumpy, as always.
I suppose one would not take kindly to being punched as he was.
Punched or not, he was as ungrateful as ever.
I shall not keep you any longer. Merci, mademoiselle.
I have gathered all I need from Madame Vandenbosch and Mademoiselle Rihanna. I should return to the Great Hall. What I don't like about this game, it's a lack of investigation in terms of like only the items that I can click on and inspect, they are not relevant to the game whatsoever. And it's pretty linear. So, okay. Yeah, now what?
Whatever you need, detective.
Your assistant.
Do we need to make some connections? Oh yeah, we do. Okay. So, whoa, okay. Cassandra believes the Major was the blackmailer.
What a revelation!
Angelina and Cassandra have different impressions of the Major. There must be a reason for this. Conflicting opinions. Talk to Angeline. Inspect the garden. Well, I did. Rihanna said the Major didn't thank her. Major didn't have much to his name. Cassandra suspects Hugo. Major had a temper. Well, I'm not sure what's here to connect.
I cannot see the logic in this.
Yeah, me neither. Zachariah was traumatized after the war. Gideon claims Archibald has access to the
Some
safe.
would say a lucky guess.
I have heard of men returning physically from war, but in their minds remain on the battlefield. Zachariah have shell shock. Talk to Gideon. And another connection. Not sure.
Order and method.
No?
That is the way. This will not get me any closer. Is there something?
These two?
Things are beginning to become.
One can't be surprised with Angelina and Felix's bond. He's been a figure in her life for so long. Angelina attached to the Major. Okay.
Is there something I can help you with, Detective?
My mom did not describe her friendship with the Major in such a positive light.
You have got the wrong end of the stick, Detective. Maman has snapped at him recently, but it was nothing more than that. It was something to do with the letter. I heard them in the library before Maman shouted and he stormed out of the room past me.
Could it have been the blackmail letter that instigated their argument?
Why would Maman be upset with him over the letter?
Madame is of a very different opinion from yourself regarding his connection with the letters. She believes him to be the author.
That is what she told you? She has always been one to make a quick, if not rash decision, but she cannot truly believe that.
What? Was the Major aware of you had paid the first blackmail letter?
I don't recall telling him directly. I did not want Maman to find out it had been paid. If he knew, surely she would.
Madame believes he may have been behind all the letters, and taking your payment of the first, then used it to pay the second and be the hero in you and your mother's eyes.
I never knew Maman had such an imagination. Where would she get a story like that from?
That is a question I was hoping you may be able to answer.
You have met him. Do you really think he's capable of such a devious plan?
It is a plan only the most crooked and underhanded could create. Is that the Major? I am not so sure.
The more I think of Madame's story, the more ridiculous and obscure it sounds, but that does not mean it can be ruled out.
I shall not keep you any longer. Merci, mademoiselle.
If it will help you find...
Your brother was seeing a doctor?
When he returned from the war, he was a different man. Everything became about what he had seen.
I cannot speak from experience, but I can only imagine the horrors he must have witnessed.
The first weeks he would wake in the night, screaming. I found him one night, cowering behind a desk in the study. And when I tried to help him out from beneath it, well, that was the first time I had ever feared for my life.
That is not why you two are no longer close?
And not at all, Detective. We were always very different in nature. While I had always wanted to follow an academic path, Zachariah was more of a free spirit, or at least as free as our father and the laws would allow.
And yet he ended up in the military. Quite the contrast.
Our father demanded that he at least try to do something with his life. and when some of his friends joined the army, he signed up with them. It wasn't long before he moved out from the family home after his return from the army. I always assumed that he had put the war and everything that came with it behind him and was moving on. But now I see that is far from the truth.
Wow, very helpful. And now what? Yeah, see, that's what I don't like about this game. Like, we had like one conversation, like ask one question, got a bit of info. Now we have to make a connection to progress into the game. Yeah. What is that to combine? No idea. Well, we've talked to Gideon, we've talked to Cassandra. Gideon claims they have. Zachariah has a shell shock.
Come, my little grey cells.
But that's the only new thing
Order and method.
here.
That is... I cannot see the logic in it.
These two, Gideon paid it off. Cassandra wasn't happy with the major.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally...
I wonder if the blackmail had a greater effect on their relationship than expected. Relationship ruined by blackmail? Talk to Angeline. Yeah, please go.
Is there something I can help?
Was the arrival of the blackmail letter what caused the tension in Madame and Major's relationship?
I'm afraid it had been that way for some time. Maman is not forthcoming with her emotions, as I'm sure you are aware, but I could tell she had not been happy with their arrangement for the last few months.
What gave you that impression?
There was not one particular thing that she expressed, it was just the way she spoke to him and of him when he wasn't present.
I shall not keep you any longer.
I believe I have gathered everything that is required. Monsieur Stelling will be able to assist me in gaining access to the Major's study.
Whatever you need, Detective.
I wish to inspect the Major's study again.
Certainly, Detective.
The room is still a crime scene, and I should have remained untouched, but it looks as though it has been ransacked. I requested Monsieur Stelling to have the body wrapped and moved, which has been done, thankfully. What else has gone in here? Okay. Well, shall we start from this corner? Yeah, we're not leaving until we find something that we're missing. Someone was obviously looking for something in particular in the Major's document. These accounts have been thoroughly rifled through. The Major has recently taken out a large loan, and the interest rate is astronomical. Well, should we take that? Apparently not. Photograph?
Oh.
I must admit, side by side, there's a striking resemblance between me and Philippe, perhaps such flattery in the way to win over Madame Van den Bosch. How strange that this Viscount was also present in the picture, but had been folded out. I did not think there was any hostility between the Major and the late Viscount.
Oh,
How strange. I could not access this yesterday, but now it has been left wide open. Scratches are obvious around the clock. Someone in this house was eager to see the safe's content. A half-sealed letter addressed to Madame van der Bosch from the Major. I'm not the one to read others' private mail, but under their circumstances. My dearest Cassandra, it feels as though it has been an age since I have been able to set my eyes on you. A day I have waited for so impatiently. I feel the photograph of us together at the lake close to my heart always. I cannot wait to see how young Angeline has grown. Her beauty will surely soon reach out that of her mother's. I hope the gift from the Orient reached your find. They are really something to behold. The work that has kept me away for so long is drawing to a close, and I will be returning to the continent within the month. At your request, I have found accommodation in the city. It pains me to think of being so close and yet unable to be with you every moment, but it eases your worry. I shall not continue to question it. I will arrange for a visit to the house. An old friend returning will surely raise minimal suspicions. I understand that the Viscount is also currently out the country. I hope you have not felt the strain of loneliness take over, and it will not be long until we are reunited. Until the day, until the end of mine, my heart is yours. Major Felix Hagen. Well, well, well. It seems there is a great deal of Madame van den Bosch and the Major's relationship that he has withheld. It is clear from the letter that their affection for one another has been more than of a friendship for some time. The mention of young Angeline suggests it may go back as far as 20 years. Are we done? Do we have to make connections? Yes, we do. Large sum. High interest rate.
I must act on thought and fact.
Oh, and scent. Okay. Major confessed his love for Cassandra. Angeline and Cassandra.
I must take a different approach if... Order and method. What a revelation!
The hidden photos of them along with Angeline's attachment to him proves he cared deeply for them. The Major cared about Cassandra and Angeline. And... okay.
I should not be surprised by my own
The Major paid the letter that was addressed to him. He must have been worried enough that something would be released to the public. But what? The Major paid the blackmail ransom.
I must take a different approach if I am to uncover the truth. I must act on thought and... This will not get me any...
Of these two, the Major cared about Cassandra and Angeline, Cassandra and the Major's relationship issues.
Another success.
I believe the Major would do everything to remain in the comfortable life he's accustomed to, but would he stoop so low as to fake a blackmail letter? Major faked the blackmail?
Is there something... magnifique?
No. The evidence showed that the Major was not the author of the blackmail letter. The Major was a victim just like the Mademoiselle Angeline. Whoever it is that penning these letters knows a great deal about many people. I wonder how many more have received similar letters. The Major is innocent. The uncertain connection between the Major and the ransom has been resolved. The Major was being blackmailed. The letters were not written by his hand. What remains unsolved is why the Major was being blackmailed. 2 cases of extortion under the roof. One roof. The question of the relationship must be asked. The Major's secret is anything but obvious from his letter. I now have a blackmailer and a murderer and their weapon to find. If the correct process is followed, they shall all be found swiftly. I should take my leave. This room has already revealed enough new insights into the Madam's and the Major's lives.
Detective Poirot, I have been asked to inform you that Lady Van den Bosch has returned to her room, and she wishes not to be disturbed.
Merci. Madame certainly has mastered the art of subtlety.
They may not be the exact words she used, but I'm sure you can imagine. Excuse me, I have some further duties to attend to in the pantry.
Perhaps I should take this opportunity to search the top floor. Now there is no one to disturb me. There is one room that holds particular interest. I should inspect the storage room while I have this rare opportunity. Okay, I don't remember where. Oh. Well, I guess it's somewhere here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, no. Oh. Children's toys.
Huh.
A collection of children's toys. Such a shame to see them stored away and not being enjoyed. Considering they have been kept in a storage room, they are in almost perfect condition. My immediate assumption would they belong to Mademoiselle Angeline? Grandfather clock.
Oh.
The time and skill it takes to build such a wonderful piece. It is an art form. Book. A lone storybook rests here. It has obviously been read a great number of times, judging by the condition of the spine and pages. I am perhaps not the largest demographic, but I understand it to be quite popular amongst the younger audience. To the real lady of the house, happy birthday. Watching you grow into a proper young lady has been more than words can describe. All my love, Felix. I would not have expected to find such a heartfelt message written by Monsieur Hagen. And to Mademoiselle Angeline, is this the usual inscription you would find from a family friend? Maybe he is the father. I cannot seem to get a straight answer from anyone regarding the Major. I know he has been friends with Madame Van den Bosch for some years, but I must find out if it was anything more. Maybe she is his daughter. You know? They had an affair while the Madame was still married, so, you know. The Major resided with the family for a long time. That's the biggest secret, that the Major is the father. Confessed his love for Cassandra.
I cannot see the logic in this. Come, my little grey cells.
Well kept. Antiques. Appropriate gift from the Major.
I must take a different approach if I...
These two, the Major reside with the family for a long time. Major high in interest rate.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would...
It seems the Major has lived rather comfortably in the Van den Bosch house for many years. The major depends on the Cassandra's accommodation. Talk to Angeline.